Hi, this is Heather here, and as you can tell, there are baby chicks here. I just want to tell everyone how to do this successfully in case you don't know. I know there's a lot of chicken videos out there, but I just wanted to do mine, just from what I've experienced. This is about a 3-foot box, maybe a little more than 3 feet, and I have 6 chickens in here. When you bring your chickens home, if they're shipped, they don't have to eat right away. What you want to do is you want to put them in the box. You could also use a storage bin with some screen cut out like this. This is actually just a screen from our window we use just to keep them protected, because I do have a cat in here. She really doesn't bother them though. But anyway, yeah, you want to make sure that you put them right in and show them where the water is immediately. Now, if you notice this thing here, they didn't really want to drink out of that. They didn't even know what it was. So what I did was I made up little cups like this. As you can tell, it's dirty right now. If you make these little cups, you can cut them, plastic cups, and they'll usually find the water pretty good. As soon as you get them out of the box, you want to dip their beaks gently in water. Sometimes you won't be able to do it. Sometimes you won't be able to catch the little chicks. Sometimes they're skittish. But yeah, just, give it about an hour or two. I would watch them, for the first 2 hours. I would actually just sit with them and watch to make sure they get the water. And then after they drink, you can feed them. Right now I'm feeding my chickens actually let's go over here, I'll show you. I'm feeding them this chick starter feed. They really like it, it's pretty good. It's organic, non-GMO. And a little bit of alfalfa pieces. You don't want to give them too much of this because it has loads of fiber. You just want to give them a very small amount, and you don't want to give it every day. As you can tell, it has very big. Let me open this up real quick. These sticks are rather large, but if you dig way, way down into the bag, you'll get smaller little pieces you can break up into tiny little pieces. And you can mix a little bit of that with their chick starter feed, but I wouldn't do it every day. Maybe every 3 days, but don't do it right away. You want to feed them their regular diet for at least 2 or 3 days, which is a good starter crumble feed. And if you see them having trouble eating, just break it up even smaller than what it is to make it like a dusting. And then on day 3, you can add a little bit of the alfalfa, and then so on. Now what I just added yesterday is a little bit of mashed up hard-boiled egg. The white and the yellow they can eat, but you've got to crumble it very, very fine. And you can also add that into their original food. I wouldn't give it separate because they do need the grit in their diet every day. So I would just put a little bit in with the regular feed. And again, don't do that every day either. Maybe like every 2 days. It adds a little protein to their diet. It helps with sticky butt. Now we're going to get into I'm going to get into telling you what sticky butt is. If you'll notice, my chicken's butts look pretty clean. You can't really see them, but there's his little butt, her butt rather. And that's the way you want your chicken's bottom to look. If you see dark brown or black pasty stuff, that's called pasty butt or sticky butt. If you see that, it must be removed immediately. I know a lot of people actually take their chicken out of its housing and take it into the bathroom or in their kitchen, and they will wash the little bottom off with warm water. If your chicken is very squirmy, you probably won't be able to do that. So what I do is I take a very wet cotton ball or a very wet piece of toilet paper, kind of small, very warm water, gently wipe the chicken's bottom, and then very gently, once it's loose, you can gently peel, very gently, the poop off with your finger. And make sure you get it all. Because if you leave that there, your chicken will not be able to take a next bowel movement because it will plug up its butt. Like I said, I feel that the alfalfa could have did that, but I'm not sure. Extreme temperatures can also do it, either too warm or too cold. The first few days you want your chicken to be at least, your chicks rather, you want them to be at least 93 to 94. Some people say 100 degrees. I kind of disagree with that. Mine are doing great on the 92 degree. And you want that for like the first 2 or 3 days, about 94 degrees for the first 2 or 3, and then gently reduce, if you can, reduce the heat just by, picking up your heat lamp a little bit more and reduce it to maybe 92. And we actually have a thermometer right here that we put in. We just set it down. It does get wood shavings on it, but you can always open it up and open your chicken coop up, your housing, and get the wood chips off of that. We have an infrared light here, and it's actually the best kind you can get. You really want an infrared. You don't want clear, because when your chickens go to sleep at night, they can't really see the red light as much as a normal bright light. So, they'll pick at each other if they see too much light at night when they're trying to sleep. So you want to go with the infrared. They're not too expensive. They're like maybe $4 or $5. And this heat lamp system, I can't remember how much this was, but it's not real expensive. But you want to make sure that your chickens don't get cooked. So I'm basically up here every few hours checking them. If you don't want to, keep checking them, if you're real busy, if you work or whatever like that, you can't be at home, you might want to set some kind of timer. I know they do sell them. If you look it up on YouTube, just look up chicken heater timers, and if it gets too hot, those timers will shut off. And I don't think those are too expensive. But you want to make sure the water's really clean. Now, like I said, I had 2 of these little cups for the first 3 days, and then I switched over to this. And just to make sure that they're drinking out of this, I still kept the small cup. And yes, they're not drowning in the water. I was kind of worried about that because they will. They'll drown very easily. So you want to start off with the small cups. You will have to change them at least 6 to 10 times a day. And you can transfer to this in a few days. And my chickens did not like eating out of the feeder. So I just gave them something flat, because chickens like to pick and peck at the ground for their food. So yours might not eat out of a dish either. So you might want to try this. And it's okay if a little bit of wood shavings get in there. But yeah, when they get about maybe a week old, you want to reduce the heat even more to about 89 to 90. And then I think it's, every few days you want to keep reducing until you get room temperature, like 80 degrees. And they'll be fine at that rate. These little guys are about 6 or 7 days old. Actually, they're females. I got a Rhode Island Red right here. And over here, the white leghorn is the yellow chicken there. And I have a Baird Rock, which is, I'm pretty sure it's that one. And then this one here is a Sicilian Buttercup, the one that looks like a tortie. And then I have a Jersey Giant, which is probably going to be this one, because it's got more black. And then, oh, I forgot which one this one is. Huh. I don't remember what kind of chicken I've got. But yeah, you want to transfer them outside when they get to be about 4 weeks of age. And you do want to clean this bedding out frequently. You'll notice the first few days they won't poop a whole lot. But a few days later, like about a week old, they will start pooping a whole lot. But you want to never use these cedar shavings because they're toxic. You want to use pine shavings. Those are the best, most absorbent. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this, but chickens do not urinate, so they just poop. But they have 2 different kinds of poop. Sometimes it'll be a little bit pastier and thicker and harder. Not pasty, but more hard. And other times it'll be more of a watery. Those poops are both normal. If you see any blood in your chick's poop, it could be something called coccidia. Coccidia, not toxidia. And that's very dangerous. It's actually a parasite similar to Giardia. Now, my chickens were not vaccinated at all for the Markets disease, or markers. I can't remember if it's Markets or markers. But yeah, I haven't vaccinated mine. I'm trying to do the all-natural, organic, But if you're going to do that, you've got to be more careful. And I did not have mine vaccinated for the parasite either, the coccidia. You just want to keep everything very clean. Every other day you want to clean it out. And you want about at least an inch, maybe 2 inches of the pine shavings. You can use straw or hay, but I wouldn't do that. It gets moldy and wet very, very quick. And it's actually harder to clean because it's bigger. These chips are kind of small. Actually, I just basically scoop up the chips with this. And I put them into a little trash can that I have up here. But yeah, you want to do that. Marcus disease is very nasty though. But if you're only going to have a few chickens, like maybe 3 to 6, 3 to 8 even, then you don't want to really vaccinate for that. They vaccinate day-old chicks with this great big hypodermic type needle. I've seen it, right in the wing. And some have even died during the shipping process. When I got these little fellas shipped, they came from Ohio, Meyer Hatchery. As soon as I opened the box, they did great. I mean, they were alert, they were awake. I don't know if that's because I don't live real far from there, but you always want to get your chicken shipped more closer, you know, like that. I mean, like if you're from Maryland, I wouldn't get your chicken shipped from like California. I would look for someone closer because they'll be shipped and they'll take about 2 or 3 days to even get to your house. So, but yeah, these guys are doing very good. They're getting really tired now. You will notice the first day you get them, they'll be a little stressed and they probably won't sleep. Mine were standing up and they wouldn't sleep. And they tried to eat, but they really couldn't. You just might have to ground up the feed really, really small, like I said earlier. And usually on the next day, you'll notice them sleeping better and eating better. And then, of course, they'll start to poop a lot in a few days. And you just want to check their butts, like 3 times a day. And transfer them to your chicken coop at about 4 weeks old. You can wait till they're 5 weeks. Just depends on if you have a lot of predators in your yard or how safe your coop is. And here's our coop out here. But yeah, these little guys are almost a week old, so they got another 3, maybe 4 weeks in this box. Now we got this fan going over here, facing that way, just for more ventilation, you know, for them. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else. Just watch out for signs of the chicken acting like it's lethargic or dizzy or can't walk. If it's dragging its legs, it could have the Marcus disease, and you need to remove it immediately and separate from the others. But sadly, they've probably already been exposed. It's very catchy. But you can vaccinate. It's up to you if you want to vaccinate for that or the coccidia. They say if you don't vaccinate for the coccidia, you should feed your chickens the medicated starter feed. But like I said, I'm not doing that. So I'm just trying to go all natural. So I hope this really works out. That's really about it. If you have any questions, let me know. Also, never give your chicken real cold water. It has to be room temperature. It can kind of hurt their belly, cause a little problems with the constipation. And it can cool them down too much, too, if you give them really cold water. And you only want your heat lamp to one side. So we usually just put it right in this area here. So the chickens can crawl away from it. You know, they'll get away from that in case they get real warm. But yeah, a good starter feed is your best bet for the first like 2 or 3 days. And you can add a little bit of the alfalfa, just a little bit, every couple days to their regular feed. Always add the snacks to their regular feed, though, so that they can still get what they're eating. And yeah, if you notice any blood, your chicken may have the coccidia. It doesn't mean it's going to die, but it's not good if they have that. I don't know if you can actually deworm these. I haven't really gotten into all that yet. But there is something called dimaceous earth. It's like a powder, and they can actually eat that. It's a food grade. And if you sprinkle it around your chicken coop, of course you can't do it now, but when you do it, when they get older, it kind of keeps away like the mites that they might get. They don't get fleas, but they can get worms and mites. And they can also eat the dimaceous earth powder, and it actually deworms them, I heard. But you only want to use that, like maybe every couple months. You want to sprinkle that around your cage there, your chicken coop rather. And it really works really good. And as for a flooring to your coop, we're going to go ahead and use some sand. I'm still kind of on the fence if I want to use sand or pea gravel. I don't want to do regular flooring though. Like the dirt. I don't want to really do the dirt. But yeah, the pea gravel and the sand are actually both pretty good. I'm thinking of the sand because I can just sift through the poop. Like with a large kitty litter scooper, you can actually make a homemade one if you want to. You can use like maybe some chicken wire, some kind of pole maybe attached to that. I'm kind of looking into that now on how to keep it really clean out there. But yeah, that's that. I think I covered everything. Thanks for viewing my video. I'll do another one later on how they do and when they get a little bigger. Thanks.